Oh yeah. Alright, so this is the Godzilla YouTubers panel. I just want to say thank you guys for coming out.
Well, I'm Rafael Cosme at XXV 621.
My name is Richard Manzo, and Gojira51 on YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
I want to thank JD Lee and the GFest staff for setting this up. I mean, this is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
We're just going to talk about a YouTube story. So, pretty much, I started back in 2013. People like Godzilla and Godzilla got me into the stuff. And, I started out doing, fan films. I started out making a Godzilla Xzilla, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla. And then after that, I kind of went into more Jurassic Park, Five Nights at Freddy's. So I wouldn't necessarily say I'm a fully Godzilla YouTube channel. I'm kind of more open to everything. And that's a big thing you need to learn, is that if you keep doing the same content, it might get repetitive. So always be open to new types of content. And my Godzilla fan films, the difference with them is that I try to bring more, grounded human stories with them. I like touching on Godzilla's biological makeup, how he damages the environment, mutations and disease. And what I try to do different is that, everyone does the same military battles, tank battles. I try to distance myself from that. My new Godzilla movie, not a single tank battle. So, and people ask, why do you keep doing, figure films, these toy films? Well, that's kind of the thing that got me into this. I mean, it grew my channel, and it's kind of funny because more people watch my toy films than my live action ones. And, I did an alien movie recently, and, that's what I want to do later on. I want to break that barrier that is YouTube and try to get into film. And that's kind of become the staple of my channel. I've been doing these toy battles, and that's what's pretty much bringing up my channel. And, through the years, I couldn't really find a set kind of video, like what is the main staple of the channel. I tried discussion videos, fan-made trailers, but I found out that these short battles are the thing, and my channel has grown about twice the size than it already is because of it. And many times you struggle, should I do this certain video for the views, or you're actually enjoying it? These short battles that I do, it's something that I genuinely enjoy. I'm not kind of locked into making discussion videos, so I like doing what I do right now. And I've always wanted to be a filmmaker since I was 8. And later on, people have always said in my life, you're gonna change, you're gonna want to do something else. So I haven't changed. I still want to be a filmmaker, and that's what I plan to do. Later on, I want to get into some kind of film college, and I want to break the barrier that is YouTube and get into real life making films. Maybe even someday work with Toho. And that's pretty much my story being a YouTuber. Many times you'll always get criticism. There could be genuine criticism or genuine hate. You got to learn how to distinguish between the two of them. So that's pretty much my story on YouTube. And to end off my story, I actually do want to show an exclusive trailer to my new Godzilla film, Godzilla vs. the Creature from the Red Planet. And here's a trailer right here. It's on a USB. And here we go.
I've dealt with Godzilla since 1954, 1957, 1963, and now today.
Things change. You can't escape them.
I'm not sure we should keep fighting this. We need to leave.
We went this far. And now die?
Tell the world to have hope in Godzilla. We deal with problems like these every half a decade, but this time, no, not this time.
To solve this problem.
The darkness will come over you someday. Our most powerful monster will come over the sky one day with obliteration of hell to cities.
This may be our last shot of taking out most of these creatures at once.
Stop everyone, get ready, they're closing in.
You all will have to die when that day comes.
with everyone I've ever cared about, and there's no going back.
That's pretty much my story. Richard, would you like to go ahead?
All right, yeah, I would. Real quick, just give him another round of applause. That was great, guys. Come on. Really quick. We're going to be seeing that in Comic-Con, right? So, anyway, like I said, my name is Richard Manzo, and basically everybody knows me as the guy who hates Shin Godzilla. So I started my channel off in 2013, but my biggest video actually came from last year, and it was called Why Godzilla 2014 is Better Than Shin Godzilla. And real quick, show of hands, who here likes 2014 better? All right, you want to count that? All right, now show of hands, who likes Shin Godzilla better? All right. Oh boy, okay. Tough crowd. Anyway, yeah, so I started my channel back in 2013, like I said, and I did kind of basic reviews, editorial videos, you know, just the run-of-the-mill trailer reactions and stuff like that, but it wasn't until 2016 when the Godzilla Resurgence, as it was called for us, trailer came out. And when I first did that, I did a trailer reaction to it, and I was kind of disappointed with it, and a lot of people did not like that I had an opinion about it, and I got a lot of flack for it and stuff like that, even death threats and stuff like that. It was pretty insane. It was hilarious. Even GojiFan93 was commenting. He was like, dude, what the heck is going on? But yeah, and then from there, last year in 2017, that's when I made the big video. And from there, people wanted to see more videos like that. I eventually made Why Godzilla 1998 is Better Than Shin Godzilla. And yep, tough crowd. Okay. But yeah, so I just kept on kind of making that because people wanted it, and I felt it though, like because, as you mentioned earlier, there's a difference between hate and criticism. I consider what I do criticism. I do reviews and stuff like that, but I have claims and I have points to back that up. That's how I feel, you know? And whenever we're just talking or anything like that, it's like the people, they just think I'm just a blind hater or something like that. They even say I'm not a true Godzilla fan. I only came into Godzilla since 2014, and yeah. But that's basically all I have to say about that. But going on top of that, what do you want to say about that?
He's pretty much just sets his story, and what we want to do now is kind of talk about, you know, overall like YouTube topics and copyright, YouTube copyright. What has been your experience with that?
It's tough, man. Like really. Like, you put a little 3-second clip, they take down the whole 17-minute video, you know? And it's just annoying, it gets on your nerves, and I understand why, but still, it's tough because, especially for you, like a filmmaker, you know, the toy films and stuff like that, you want to make something, and sometimes a certain music or soundtrack just fits so perfectly, but when you can't use it, it's like just a big bummer.
Exactly, like, who here has heard of Godzilla Heritage? I mean, that looked like an amazing fan film. You know, the struggle I went through that with them in Toho is a disaster. I mean, I know all of us wanted to see it. I mean, it looked like a great fan film, you know. I mean, that's the thing I don't get, because like YouTube, any video you put out without monetization is under fair use. So, you know, that's kind of become like the biggest problem with, you know, making YouTube videos. I've seen a lot of channels, you know, get taken down. You know, sometimes they try to make money off it, which is the wrong thing to do, but sometimes people just want to make tribute videos and music videos, and they get taken down too. So, I mean, has any video ever been taken down?
Oh yeah, like all of them. I literally had a Monster Planet video I did. That I had to re-upload that I think 7 times, and I had to go back and re-edit it, and it's just a pain in the butt. You know, it really is. But now, I want to ask a question for the audience, though, real quick. Show of hands, who here is not a Godzilla YouTuber but would like to be? That's a big crowd. All right, so real quick, I don't think we mentioned this at the start. At the 15-20 minutes at the end of the panel, we're going to have a Q&A. So if you guys have any questions, just kind of
start making them up, like as we go along.
Yeah. But yeah, so what else do you want to talk about YouTube, though? Clickbait. Let's talk about clickbait. All right.
What has been your stuff for that?
Well, I think there's also a confusion between clickbait and like mis-selling your video and representing your video. Like, how would you say you do?
I mean, people see that more as like, oh, you want people to see your video. I mean, that's bad. I mean, you want the most outlandish, thumbnail possible. That's the picture before the video. You click on it. I mean, I go, pretty much, standard for the film is more of like a wide shot of like the monsters, what you're getting into. And sometimes, I mean, you've done kind of like the red arrow stuff with the X.
Yeah. Well, not red arrow. Do you guys know like the whole red arrow thing, like the whole joke about that?
Circle.
Yeah, I do a circle, like a cancel sign. That's my thing. But yeah, see, I don't misrepresent my video. I say what it is. Like if it's called Why Godzilla 2014 is Better Than Shin Godzilla, I'm not saying it's fact, but I'm saying it's my opinion. But that's what the video is about. That's what it's stating. But like people like the Logan Paul or Jake Paulers or whatever. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think we should talk about how social media got G-Fest to where it is. I mean, I learned about G-Fest through watching, vlogs. I mean, GojuFan93 doing vlogs, people making their haul videos, and I'm like, I want to be a part of that. So that's how I got into going to G-Fest, That's what I like about social media. I mean, sometimes people see it as a bad thing and they don't really give any reason, but it really got G-Fest to where it is. I mean, we get a lot of people, people post about it on Instagram, YouTube, and it's amazing to see all these vlogs, come together, and that's pretty much how I got there. I mean, what about you?
Yeah, no, really, like watching a bunch of Goji73 or like GojuFan93, all the Gojis, all of them. But yeah, no, I mean, that's how it started, and like, even like 2014, like, Godzilla, 2014 Godzilla. 2014 was the biggest year for G-Fest. I think over 3,000 people. I think it was.
Yeah,
it was huge, and a lot of that had to do with a lot of the social media and the sharing and stuff like that. I mean, really, like the great thing about this place is that it's small, but because of that, you kind of create a community here. Like this is the first year where I've really kind of branched out and kind of just talked around to people in the elevator or something like that. Your neighbors with this guy, and you start talking to him. It's just a great experience that you can't get at like a Comic-Con or something like that, to where they're too big.
I mean, exactly. I mean, that's the beauty of it. I mean, you could have problems with someone online, and like once you go to G-Fest, you all forget about that. You're just here to buy figures, get into kaiju. I've been watching less Godzilla films recently because I want to be a future filmmaker, watching more realer films and just trying to learn how to do that. But going to G-Fest, just people go up to me and ask for autographs, pictures. Like that's something I'll never get, and that's why I love the community that we have here.
Yeah, really. No, I mean it's awesome just to be able to because already I see so many faces I've already seen in the hallways. Just hey, what's up? No, but yeah, it's awesome just to thank you guys for just coming up, and that's the great thing about this. You meet people, you make friends, and sometimes there's a little bit of drama. Sometimes people don't like each other, and you get into fights, not real fights, but like online. But no, yeah, I mean that's the beauty of it. Yeah.
So I guess we've talked about all the, pretty much the main discussions, and if you guys have any questions, we're going to open up for Q&A for the rest of the panel. Does anyone have any questions? You.
I was wondering why you have not incorporated SH monster art into your videos, since they were the more motion would, but I know they're more expensive.
Exactly, yeah. I mean, figures, I barely bought any this year. And that's the thing, SH Monster Arts. I am not the best with stop motion, so I kind of people, it might seem, you're just moving the figure in front of the camera. I mean, if I would have stop motion, it'd be a few seconds in there. Like I did a Jurassic Park, fight scene recently, and I had a little bit of stop motion in there, but that Kaiju Legend, I see him back there. He does great stop motion. I guess we all have our kind of thing. I'm not really the stop motion guy. I'm more of like the, practical sets, less special effects, and try to do everything practical, real explosions, little firecrackers, build these miniature sets kind of like the real Toho movies do. So I would try more stop motion, but I don't really have much experience in that, but I will try to be open more to that soon. So, yeah. Not only the design is my favorite, but it talked about this Godzilla being made from the dead people from the older nuclear wars. That storyline. It's hard getting a dark Godzilla movie now. 1954. That's pretty much probably my favorite because of how serious it took itself. It touched on how message of nuclear bomb. It shows the effects radiation has on people, and I kind of got that feel when I saw how dark the tone was in GMK. So that's probably got to be my favorite.
For me, I'd have to say 1998 is probably my favorite. No, I'm just kidding. No, really, it comes down to, of course, 1954. You gotta love the classic, and 84. is really good. Yeah. 2014. Woo! Where's Chris? Is he in here? No, he's not. Okay. But 2014, all the fours. I love the fours. But GMK is also great. But if I had to pick one, probably 1954. That's still probably my favorite. Next question. You right there.
Yeah, I guess the big one is, how do you amass your followers, like get more subscribers? Like I've been making videos on my own channel for like 7 years, but I don't exactly have a lot of people subscribers.
You mean like how to get more subscribers? I mean, I guess the best recommendation I would have is just, Monster Planet. That's a big thing. You talk about Monster Planet. Like I said, trying different types of videos, discussion videos, little fan-made trailers, little fight scenes with the figures. I mean, just try testing new things out. It might be because many people, I love seeing videos where people talk about the old Godzilla movies, but people, they want to know, what do you think of Shin Godzilla? What do you think of Monster Planet 1 and 2? So I would best say, pick what's most relevant now. And I feel like people, it might not be in a direct influx of views, but that's what people care about most, is relevancy with the new content, so.
Well, the way I kind of did it, like I said, I started in 2013, and hey, what's up, man? 2013, and like I said, in 2016, really, I had maybe 2,000 subscribers, not even.
This is kind of an obvious one, but what's your favorite Godzilla kaiju?
Godzilla kaiju. I say Gabra, but I don't want to piss people off. I'd probably say, man. I do like Biolante. Just wacky design. Almost looks like an Ultraman monster.
Zilla. No, Anger's. I love Anger's. Who here loves Anger's? There we go.
Yeah.
The underdog kaiju. The Rocky Balboa. That's what.
When you first thought of Godzilla, what did you think of him when you first saw him? Or
Kind of
when you
how I
first
was
saw him?
introduced.
Yeah.
This is actually surprising. I got introduced to Godzilla really late, almost like 2011, 2012. I'm not one of those people who say, oh, I was a Godzilla fan since I was a toddler or a baby. No, I mean, it was a really late thing. I mean, I started out liking out, Steven Spielberg movies, Jaws, Jurassic Park. And when I started seeing more Godzilla stuff, I actually played Godzilla Unleashed, and that kind of opened my mind more. Hey, this is a cool kaiju game, monster game. And I kind of looked more into it, and I saw the Godzilla movies. And it's weird because, many times when you're a kid, you just see Godzilla movies pass on TV, and sometimes it might blow over you if, I wasn't a fan of it, but way before. But, more recently, I've been a Godzilla fan, I guess, for, the past 6 years. I wouldn't say I was, since I was a child, so that's how I was introduced to Godzilla.
Oh, it's this guy right there. There you go.
What do you think a good age is to start YouTube?
Want me to take this?
Yeah, go ahead. Go first.
Any age. I mean, I see a lot of times, many of the older Godzilla YouTubers kind of think, oh, we'll always get new, younger Godzilla YouTubers, and that's what I like seeing, First wave of people was like Deadzilla, Goju73, Goji fan, Richiso, he's still around. And now more recently, we're getting more younger, teenage Godzilla YouTubers. Some of them, a lot of people think, oh, I don't have any respect for these people because, they don't know what they're talking about. Some of them really do. Some of them really care about what they do. So I would say any age is good. If you know what you're talking about and you're more knowledgeable on it, any age can work. I mean, it's just, you don't have to have the best content. Like I said, relevance. You're a kid talking about Monster Planet 2, people want to hear your opinion. So I'd say any age.
I second that as well.
My favorite creepypasta.
Alright. You.
What's your favorite monster roar?
Favorite monster roar? You want to go first, Rich?
Sure. Godzilla included or excluded?
Included.
Godzilla.
2014 roar, and also I like the long 91 roar. I remember he had a pretty long one in that one, probably when he was over the hill or something like that. Alright. You.
Are you planning, did you already release the UFO movie, the alien movie?
The live action one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's actually a pretty good question. This movie has nothing to do with Godzilla. I mean, I like these kinds of questions. It's the kind of real movie I want to make in the future. Live action, solid alien thriller movie. I was inspired by Close Encounters. That was a big movie in my childhood, and I just love the feeling of it. It's nothing like, crazy machinery, Transformers kind of aliens. It's simple, and I think I love that movie so much because it sprung a deeper message of a creator would give anything just to follow that passion. He even gave up his family. I think his character was Roy in the movie. That's in Close Encounter. So I really got inspired by that. That's to me how an alien encounter would play out in real life. People think, oh, it's always very hostile. So I just like making a solid thriller, and some people understood what I was doing. It was a thriller movie, no story, no characters, simple thriller, intense scenes building up till the end until you see UFOs come down. So it already came out. It came out on June 16th, a month ago. So you can check it out.
All right, well, I don't have a movie, so there you go. Green shirt. Is that great? Okay, you're good.
I would say, if you're one of those people, Adobe works, but Adobe is not a big, a good editing software is not what gets a channel to where it is. It's the content you make. I utilize VideoPad. It's this, cheap, almost, we all started out with Windows Movie Maker, we gotta agree, but, I moved on to VideoPad, simple, I've learned every single part of that software in and out that, I always keep telling people it's not about the editing software. Do not, I try to tell people, if you can't afford $300 software for editing, don't do that. It works, whatever you can utilize with that one software, use the most out of it, and just get creative with it. My channel is still, I've been using VideoPad since 2015, and that's pretty much most of the life of my channel. So I wouldn't say, don't get a $300 Adobe if you cannot afford it. Start out with something small and build your way up.
You right there. Love your beard, by the way.
I was wondering if you guys had anybody on YouTube you would really like to collaborate in the future.
I wouldn't say collaborate in the means. Here's the thing. I want to, branch out, get more live-action Godzilla movies. But if I were to say collab in terms of it's hard. The only place to really collab with a Godzilla YouTuber would be at G-Fest, and I've kind of done that in these past 3 days. So if I would, probably go to Fan 93 anytime again. You in the back. Fan film, it's hard to remember the names. I remember seeing some live action, they had the Asian soldiers from the Jurassic World movie. I remember there was a little fan film with that. I haven't really seen much Jurassic Park fan films. I'm doing some of NDK's stuff. I've liked some of that. Shout out to you, man. So, yeah.
What was the name of yours?
Yeah, Jurassic Park Survival.
I like that one. That one's one.
Alright. So, you in the back, green shirt.
So, I know you have a lot of experience filming outside. I can see why you do it because the lighting's better. I would start doing it, but I stay inside because the lighting changes, so it's kind of tough. And the weather changes a lot. Stuff like that. So, do you have any tips for that?
So, basically what he's saying is that, I've mostly done most of my films outside. I live in a neighborhood, not an apartment. I see a lot of people struggle filming scenes in an apartment. You don't get any light, and that's the thing. Natural daylight. I kind of have an open, barely any trees, so you get the full sunlight down. I would say, I see a lot of fan films have that kind of room lighting. I would say just have as many lights. You don't need to buy those $100, stand-up, bright lights. Just get any lamps as possible. Just do what you can. Sometimes you could even brighten it up in the editing process. So I would say get as many lamps you can find. They sell these little lights. I think some kind of hardware stores, maybe Home Depot. These little lights. I forgot, but it's the ones you put on your wall for I use the ones that when there's an emergency or something. I don't know, but like I said, just don't try. If you can't afford one, get any kind of lamp you can get for inside scenes.
All the way back there with the video camera.
So you're saying where he should get film tips, like for like fan films. I mean, I guess learning about it. I mean, I learned everything, you know, myself. I mean, I've got the inspiration from some older Godzilla YouTubers, you know, seeing these practical sets. I never was into special effects. I think I can only do that if I only master it. I don't like using green screen. I never was a big fan of that, so I try to do as much practical as possible. You know, getting film tips, I always think just look at the old Godzilla movies. What do you obviously see? Miniature sets. And what I do is that, you know, Michaels, these other, you know, miniature stores, they have some miniature sections. They sell miniatures for, you know, $20 for a little chair. I'd say look in your old toy bins. I've looked in my old toy bins since I was a toddler, and you get little chairs and stuff. Find stuff that looks realistic enough that could probably work. And that's what I, you know, is surprising to find because, you know, right now, you know, I get more, you know, miniature stuff, but when I started, I used stuff I've had from the past. You know, look in your old toy bins. You're always going to find some kind of stuff for practical sets. So that's what I would give for tips.
I'd say Goju 73 is a major inspiration for younger, I guess, kids who want to kind of make because he has the Godzilla and his Amazing Friends. That's what it's called. Yeah.
Would you be doing more live action movies like Project Blue Book and Arby's Boy?
Yeah, that's what I want to try to do. I mean, like I said, people like more of the, you know, figure stuff, but for next year and this year, you know, I plan to do Arby's Boy too. But also try some kind of Godzilla short because I haven't done a live action Godzilla movie and a lot of people ask for that. So, you know, maybe even Machino. I mean, it's an old, you know, last year it came out, I worked hard on it, and people say, oh, you should have done live action. I could, I will try maybe for the next one, the sequel. So, yeah, I'll try to do more live action, but if I were to do, I'd probably wait for the Godzilla stuff later on because, like I said, with the heritage stuff, you know, kind of going into that route is kind of like a new, you know, layer stepping into, so be watchful for that. That's why I kind of limit myself back to figures. It's safe, you know, it's toys. So, you know, if I were to do live action, it'd be little shorts, you know, but you gotta be careful with that sometimes.
Okay, how about right here, in front of the blue?
No, behind you. Yeah, behind you.
What's your favorite Bandai figure? It could be Ultraman, it could be dinosaurs, not stuff like that.
I mean, I don't know who made that Orochi figure. It's probably Bandai, but I really like that figure. It's the most standout in my collection.
I don't really like Bandai figures, to be honest. I don't think they're worth the money. It's tough. Because, like, it takes itself so seriously. Other Godzilla films, like Godzilla's Revenge and stuff like that, it's not serious. But yeah.
NDK, I saw your hand up.
Well, I wanted to ask, why is it for your, like, when you made your first film, why do you think you chose to use, like, figure actors?
Like for Godzilla 1954, that one, like, old.
You chose to use, like, figures and just, like, talk music.
I mean, I didn't even have voice actors. I literally voiced every character in that first Godzilla film. It was absolutely, I mean, when you start making films, fan films, you try not to compare yourself with others. I mean, you think, okay, this is the best I can do, but the later on, I've gotten better, like, normally. So, I would say, like, oh, if you think, oh, I can't do as good as this other fan film, well, you can only do as good if you just keep making more. And that's the thing. People say, oh, your fan film was clearly better, I cannot do something like that. It doesn't matter. If you keep making more and more and more, it's the quantity of it, and also put quality into it. Take your time on it, and eventually you'll just get better. And that's why I did the figure films for 1954. I mean, I just found, hey, everyone else is doing these toy Godzilla films, let me try one, and then kind of evolved from that. So that's pretty much how I got into it.
But you made on your YouTube channel, which one was, like, you could recall your favorite to make that you enjoyed the most?
That I've made, I would have to say Machino because it's such a different film. I mean, people say the kaiju isn't only in it for like 10 minutes out of a 1 hour and 20 minutes almost feature length. But the thing I've noticed is that it's rare to see a human story in a Godzilla fan film, in a kaiju fan film, especially with figures. I mean, it's hard to kind of, you know, fully, and that's the kind of thing that's hard. Sometimes you gotta think, oh, people aren't gonna watch a fully character-driven fan film. So sometimes you gotta say, oh, I did Machino for the passion because I wanted to see how a full human story would coincide with this kind of story. You know, I want to make a Machino movie in the future. You know, figures fully live action, and I want to achieve that. So I would say that's why Mushino is my favorite. I mean, it's a story that, it's a different kind of story. I mean, it had to do with this terrorist organization, with the Komodo dragon Mushino, you know, all these things bringing the world down. And, you know, it's kind of a really, you know, darker ending. It's really dark, you know, touches on these kinds of subjects, and it doesn't end well in the end in this movie. That's why I like it. It's something different. It doesn't end with the classic, oh, good guys disabled the bomb. So that's what I would say. Mushino's my favorite.
On the laptop. The first day I got my YouTube channel, I was like, all right, let's go. I got the webcam. It was like a potato quality, but literally, I mean, that's all you gotta have to start. You know, and that's what starts it. You just put your foot in the door, and it just goes from there. So it doesn't matter.
All right. You again, yeah.
Did you give any tips on figure reviews?
I'm not like the best into figure reviews. I mean, I did that when I started out. I mean, it's just talking about the paint job. I mean, I'm not really the one to ask that. Do you know any about figure reviews?
I mean, I kind of used to do them only for a little bit. I mean, the best advice is just kind of show the figure, have it in frame, because I've seen ones where like they're just messing with the camera and it's like on their feet. Just try not to do that. That's all I'd say.
Jurassic Park film, I'm kind of taking a more comedic tone, completely action. So I would say anything that's not dark or so serious, a dark tone, anything opposite from that, I would say.
All right, and we have time for one more question. After that, we gotta wrap things up.
Maybe
so
two more, maybe.
One. We got.
I gotta make it fit two more.
We gotta do it fast. All right, one more. We're set. We got one more.
All right.
Okay. So who wants to be the last one? There you go.
If you were to correct, the 2016 Shin Godzilla, would you change the characters and the monster, or would you change the plot?
I would change, just to make it quick, the characters. That's the thing that really faulted on that movie, and it's not my favorite Godzilla movie. I think the characters, yes, they showed, you know, the government side of it, but, you know, it's hard to keep getting these government characters and military characters. I want to see a normal family in this universe of Godzilla. No one that's in the military nor in the government. Some family that is just witnessing this. Maybe fix up what 2014 couldn't do. I would like to see that for, you know, characters changing that. So,
Yep. I think that basically concludes our session. So. Also, I do want to say there was supposed to be a third person here, but. I think he's sleeping somewhere, so. But yeah, just real quick before we get done completely, I just want to say thank you again to everybody, JD Lee, to all the staff, all the organizers, all of you, just to make this possible. Just thank you for making G-Fest just another great year, and hope to see you guys next year. All right, thanks guys.
Can I press this out? Hi guys. Absolutely. Good. Think you should probably go in there.
No, the worst thing is like,
All right.
Okay, Andy, we're gonna start.
They say outside.
Alright, let's go. I'll answer the questions if they're kind of taking
Hey guys, welcome to the end of G-Fest.
These peeps showed up at the panel. How do we do, guys? How do we do?
Oh yeah.
Alright, we want to see you guys on that panel next year, and you'll be anxious.
I don't think.
Is this mic working? It is, isn't it? I'm truly sorry about that. Okay,